Hey everyone, it's Scarlett and welcome back to my writing channel. I am sick. It's well into the day and I'm still definitely in my PJs, and let me tell you, it was not fun trying to get ready for this vlog. This is probably the best I've looked in days. I've been full on in zombie mode for the past week. I don't make a good sick person, which is kind of ironic because I'm a nurse, it's what I do, I take care of sick people, but me, myself, people make jokes about the man cold. I get the man cold. I'm not a fun person to be around when I'm sick. All nursing knowledge, out the window. No idea what to do when I myself am sick. Anyways, on to the video. So a while back, I did a video of all the things I learned along the way of my writing journey, and this video is just like that one. Well, it's not just like that one. Consider it a relative to that video. A remix, if you will. The truth is, I have been writing for a while, and I have picked up a thing or two along the way. But man, the stuff I've learnt during the first draft of His Blue Eyes, it blows everything out the window. Hot dang. So today's video will be a recap of the things I've learnt during my writing journey of the first draft of His Blue Eyes, because as some of you guys might know, His Blue Eyes is my first official novel that I've ever written. Before that, everything compared to it is just peanuts. It's just a lot of fan fiction and things that I can't publish because that is illegal. So without further ado, here are the top... Did I do 6? Man, brain not working. 6. I did 6. Okay. So without further ado, here are the top 6 things I've learned along the way of writing my first draft. Number 1, don't rush it. Take your time. This one's kind of a no-brainer. Unless you're on a very strict timeline, this first draft, you owe it to yourself and your novel to be able to get all of your ideas on the paper. Mind you, some people can do this in about 2 months' time. I'm questioning if they're even human. And then there's some people who can take 2 years. For me, I started writing His Blue Eyes back in 2014. Yeah, but I was prepping this novel back in 2012. It's been a long time coming. But don't stress yourself if life is getting in the way and preventing you from writing the story. You're meant to have fun along the way as well, right? Try and find that balance between fun and work. Because yes, you are meant to consider this as work, otherwise it's probably not going to get done. But make sure that you're living and having adventures as you go as well, so you also have inspiration to pull from and motivation and everything like that. But at the same time, don't lose track of your goal. Don't wait until the last possible second to panic write it out, because you're defeating the purpose. The stress is there, the motivation to get it done is there for sure, but also you're losing the essence of your story, and when you read it you might be realizing that you didn't get all of your ideas down that you wanted. The rest is history. Number 2, it's okay for things to change in the middle of your work in progress. Whether it's the plots, the subplots, the characters themselves, names, things like that. A couple months ago, I gave my outline a complete makeover, and with the makeover, a lot of things got shifted around. I had still my overall plot, that remained firm, but a lot of my subplots were nixed and then changed. I added new characters, I added depth to the characters. Because I'm a plotter, I do have a general idea of where my story is going, and it stays pretty firm unless something is clearly not working. At most, the things I'm more likely to change are names, hair color, eye color. But that's probably because I forgot what the characters look like, because my character profiles suck. For pantsers, however, this might be a bit of a different story, because a lot of the time they just kind of go by the seat of their pants and they're winging it a lot of the way, so things are more likely to probably change for them as they write. But if you're writing and you realize the story's not really flowing the way you want it to, or the characters aren't meshing the way you want them to, don't be afraid to play around and change, because you have the ability to change it back if you don't want to, and like I said, take your time, right? You have the time to do this, especially in the first draft, because this is where all the ideas are jumbled together, and then you get to kind of pick through them and realize what you like and don't like. Whether that's completely changing like the gender of your character, changing their personalities, changing the setting, changing the plot, it's all okay. Bottom line, it's okay. Number 3, I can't multitask, period. His Blue Eyes either has all of my love or none of it. I tried once to kind of juggle 2 work in progresses during one of my previous quarterly goals, and I did it, but mainly for the sake of accomplishing the quarterly goal. As soon as the quarterly goal was done, I have not touched that work in progress since, because I know that I can't focus on 2 things at once. Any other plot bunny is just gonna have to wait until His Blue Eyes is maybe further down on its merry little way, or maybe I'm doing the final touches of it. I'm kind of at a stalemate. I can't do much of anything else because my brain does not work that way. Having said that, there's really nothing wrong with jotting down those plot bunnies and letting them fester in your notebook, and then a couple months down the road you can either open up your notebook and laugh at how ridiculous that plot bunny was, or stew over it a little bit more because gosh darn it, you're actually onto something. I've had to teach myself to keep those plot bunnies stuck in my notebook. As fun and bright and shiny as they are, if I were to step away from His Blue Eyes and kind of give those plot bunnies my attention, in the end nothing would get done. I know some people who kind of allow themselves to entertain the idea of that plot bunny. They do it, but they give themselves a timeline. They say like a week, maybe 2 weeks, maybe even a month, but then in the end of it all, they go back to their original story because stuff has to get done. Things have to get finished. Number 4, the manuscript sucked. Like really bad. The sentence structure was to die for. Literally, it was killer. And sometimes I would stumble along an unfinished sentence or thought, and I had no idea where I was really going with it. Like, what, Scarlett, what are you doing? A lot of poor word choice. I knew there was a word I was searching for, but I couldn't find it, so I just kind of plugged in another word, and it was awful, and it's like, what are you doing with that? It's weak sauce. This is kind of the price you need to pay when it comes to just like word vomiting all over the computer screen. You just need to get all of your ideas on the screen, and so you can get along and keep those creative juices flowing, right? Number 5, but at the same time, I was super proud of what I accomplished. Like, not everyone can Sweet, thank you. I mean, not everyone can write a story. And it's not just the story, it's the planning, it's the researching, it's the daydreaming, it's the outlining, it's the countless hours at the computer and sacrificing sleep and committing yourself to temporary hermitage if you haven't already. It kind of makes you a superhuman. Like, it's your baby. You gotta be proud of it. You made this out of thin air. Like, poof. And finally, number 6, you should probably think about taking a break before you jump right into editing. In other words, don't do what I did. My reasoning for diving into the editing phase was the fact that I started this story so long ago, like years ago, and so there were probably going to be things in the first beginning chapters that I couldn't remember, and so people say to let your manuscript breathe for at least a week or 2, but I believe that my manuscript had breathed enough, and so I jumped right in. The day that I printed off my manuscript, I started editing right away. And unfortunately, after that first initial read-through and jumping into the edits, I burnt out. I think part of me was worried because my thought process was, if I'm not working on my story, I'm not working on anything. But there are a lot of ways you can still work on your story without working on your story. You can jump back into research. If there are things you were unsure of and needed to fact check on, this is the time to do it. You can work on your character profiles, which is something I did do, so that my characters were more unique in their own ways. You can promote your book, and you can be prepping for a sequel if a sequel is in order. The thing is when you don't take a break and let your brain just kind of exhale finally, the risk of losing your enthusiasm and gumption and drive to push forward to the finish line becomes greater with each day. And there you have it. Those are my top 6 things that I learned along the way of writing out my first draft. Writing a story from start to finish is incredibly challenging. It takes skill, smarts, bravery, and a great many lessons learned. And sometimes the lessons you learn along the way are tough to swallow and hard to get around if you're stubborn like me and sometimes don't want to face the music. But chin up, because your story matters. Those lessons in the long run are going to do wonders for your book, and as long as you can face them eventually, like me, you'll be okay. With that said, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel. I post new vlogs every other Thursday. If there's something you'd like me to talk about or discuss, or even if you want to drop a line and just say hi, you can message me on here or tweet me at ScarlettStone. As always, I have my little linky-loo swimming down in the description box for you if you want to check out my Instagram, Twitter, Tumblr, my website. You know where to find them. Until next time, happy writing. Bye!